Good day everyone! I am Danica P. De La Cruz, a student nurse of Bachelor of Science in Nursing Level 1, Section 2 of Aklan State University. And for today, I am going to show you my written demonstration in performing hand washing or hand hygiene. This is a great way to prevent the spread of microorganisms and also to prevent infections. But before we start, we should make sure that our equipments are complete. So, we have here the liquid soap, the hand towel, and the tissue paper. And at this time, I think we are all set and we are ready. So, to begin with the procedure, so let's go. First is we need to stand here in front of the sink. And as we all know that the sink is considered as contaminated area, and of course, if contaminated, it may carry organisms from one place to another. So, always make sure that our uniforms should not touch the sink because it is already contaminated. The next thing to do is to inspect our hands if there are any cuts or any breaks. This is to stop the growing organisms if we have an open area in our skin. The next is to remove all of our jewelries because microorganisms can lodge into the setting of our jewelries. And as I have said earlier, that we should not allow our uniform to touch the sink because this is considered as contaminated area. And next is we should turn on the faucet with the running water and adjust it in appropriate flow. This is to avoid the splashing of microorganisms in other areas, especially here in our uniform. And now we are going to wet our hands from elbow down to the fingers under the running water, pointing towards the sink. We should always remember that we should always keep our hands always lower than our elbow. This is to make sure that the running water is flowing here from the cleaner area down to the contaminated area. The next thing to do is to lather your hands with liquid soap. So this liquid soap helps kill bacteria and germs. Always remember to wash our hands 15 to 20 seconds with firm rubbing in circulation movement. This creates friction that helps us remove microorganisms mechanically. So next is to interlace our fingers and rub the palm of the opposing hand. Do this vice versa. For your information, interlacing our fingers will help us clean the interdigital spaces. Next, rub palm to palm with the fingers interlaced. Next is we should rub the back of the finger, opposing palm, with the fingers interlocked. We need to rub each thumb, clasp in opposite hands in a rotational movement. Do this also vice versa. Now, rub our fingertips in the palm of the opposing hand and do this also vice versa. And lastly, we need to rub each wrist just like this. This is also to avoid contamination. And now, we should always rinse our elbow down to our hands under the running water. Always observe for keeping our hands always below than our elbows. as I have said earlier, that we should always clean and that the water would flow from the cleaner area down to the most contaminated area. And now we should dry our hands using hand towel from fingers to wrist. This is to avoid the chopping of skin. And now we should turn off the faucet with the help of the tissue to keep our hands clean from the contaminated faucet. Lastly, we should inspect our hands if there are any soap or any dirt to maintain and ensure cleanliness. And that ends my presentation. I hope you enjoy watching. Thank you and God bless.